I'm still with Ben Habib, chair of the Great British PAC. I don't know if you were glued to the media yesterday, as I was for some of the time. You'd have thought that, you know, we are all residing in the greatest military country in the history of the world. You've got Labour trumpeting its 10-year plan to get Britain ready for war. Defence Secretary John Healey boasting about taking the tough decisions to reduce overseas aid and spend more on defence. The government mooting that 3% of gross domestic product will be spent on defending the realm. Fighter jets will be equipped with nuclear missiles, and the UK's mighty military all tooled up and fully prepared for conflict. They're all writing in the papers, big piece by John Healey in the Mail on Sunday. Yes, we're back in business. Military, Britain, yes, Rule Britannia. 12 nuclear subs to be built at the cost of 15 billion quid. Believe that when I see it. So far, so good, Ben. All very good. Then John Healey, the Defence Secretary, goes on to Laura Kuenssberg's BBC show and she says, "Oh, all this money," and then it boils down to this. He says we have a historic commitment to increasing defence spending to 2.5% in 2 years. So they're hoping to go up to 2.5% by 2027. And this 3% that they've been making all the noise about, President Trump will be so pleased at 3%. Quietly, in this interview with Laura Kuenssberg on the BBC, John Healey, the Defence Secretary, says it's just an ambition. In other words, it ain't gonna happen. They're gaslighting us again, aren't they?
They are. And, let's just get these numbers into perspective. So 3% of GDP, assuming we got there, is about 6% of the government spending, roughly. And what we spend on welfare and benefits in this country is 35% of government spending. What we spend on the NHS is about 25% of government spending. What we spend on our defence is 6% of government spending, assuming we hit this target. It is absolutely ridiculous. The United Kingdom, Rule Britannia, as you said, the backbone of a country is its confidence in its ability to defend itself. That is the backbone on which every individual gets up every morning and goes to work feeling secure. And we are not secure. We're a country that has hollowed out its military. We don't spend anything near enough on it to protect ourselves. Our borders, as we discussed earlier, have been removed. This is a country in peril. Yet this government would spend more money on benefits, more money on welfare, strip money away from those who are working, spend it liberally on its ideological, ridiculous aims, not do anything to propel the economy in this country, practice wealth redistribution over wealth creation, kill aspiration, create and inculcate the dependency culture, trash our history, trash our belief in ourselves, and then expect that we're going to buy this nonsense that hopefully they can raise the spending on defence to 3% of GDP. And that all assumes, by the way, Kevin, that there might be people who are prepared to join the armed forces and protect the country that they've heard trashed all through their educational years.
Well, let's get this right, Ben. What Healey said to Laura Kuenssberg was that essentially he says we have a historic commitment to increasing defence spending to 2.5% in 2 years' time. That's 2027. So whether or not they do that is a moot point. But then he went on to say, then we have an ambition to meet 3% in the next Parliament. Well, first of all, John and Keir, if you're listening, you aren't going to be forming the next government. You're gone already. So that's a joke. So Laura Kuenssberg said to him and said, hang on, whoa, wait a minute. So it's still just an ambition. That's not a guarantee. And Healey had to accept that. He did not commit this government to actually reaching this 3%. So it's, once again, it's like smash the gangs. It's performative. It's headline hunting. We're making the tough decisions. 3%, but they're not. They're just pretending.
No, it's nonsense.
This is just headline hunting, and this blizzard of publicity, Rule Britannia, is nothing to do with guaranteeing this nation's safety and its defence. They're not guaranteeing it. We are going to carry on down this route where we're not properly defended.
If you remove benefits from foreigners who are in this country, and you remove the incredibly generous package we give illegal migrants, we could increase defence spending by 20% without blinking. 20% without blinking. We're a country that is being hijacked by the ideological failures of those that govern us. We could protect this country. We could make it great. We could be independent. We could be prosperous. But our government chooses repeatedly to choose policies and adopt them that are damaging to the country. And again, I come back to where we were earlier in this conversation. We said Hermer was anti-British. I cited Starmer as being anti-British. They're anti-British, Kevin.
And you know that famous phrase, the best way to achieve peace is to be ready for war.
For war, absolutely.
Now, here's the problem with Britain. We're nowhere near ready for war.
No.
We've got like 70,000 troops. That's all we've got. Wouldn't even fill a championship football ground. That's how many troops we've got. All of this stuff, 13 nuclear subs. Aeroplanes will be equipped with nuclear weapons. 3%. This is just talk. None of it is real.
Nonsense.
Our nation is not ready for war, and therefore is not ready for peace. We are in a very perilous position.
We are. We're in a terrible position as a country. The reason I'm on this show with you right now is testimony to that. I'm only in politics because I fear greatly about the direction of travel of this country. I think we're facing an existential threat. We're facing, it's the absolute collapse in political will to do what's right by the country that has promoted me into politics.
Absolutely, Ben, and you do a damn fine job. I mean, I just want this government to realise you cannot base your entire sphere of activity around headline hunting, around gaslighting us. There comes a time when you actually have to do something, and they've got to do something about our perilous defence situation. Ben, fantastic to talk to you as always. He'll be back on again soon. That's Ben Habib, chair of the Great British PAC.